this lecture, you will be able to understand the basic concepts of data visualization. You will be able to get the overview of tools used for the data visualization. So what is data visualization? Data visualization helps to bridge the gap between number and the words. Data visualization is the language of decision making. Good charts effectively convey information. Great chart enable, inform and improve the decision making. What is data visualization? Data visualization is a graphic representation that expresses the significance of data. It reveals insights and patterns that are not immediately visible in the raw data. It is an art through which information, numbers, measurement can be made more understandable. The greatest value of a picture is when it forces us to notice what we never expected to see. Goal. The major goal of data visualization is to communicate information clearly and effectively through graphical means. It does not mean that data visualization need to look boring to be functional or extremely sophisticated to be beautiful. The major goal of data visualization is to communicate information clearly, effectively through graphical means so that any important decision can be taken from the data. To convey ideas effectively, both aesthetic, form and functionality need to go hand in hand. Providing insights into rather sparse and complex data set by communicating its key aspects more interesting way. The more interesting way when data is presented to basically to the manager, then it is very important how decision is being taken from the data. The major goal of data visualization is to find the patterns from the data which were previously unknown and potentially useful for the organization. Information visualization is the art of representing data so that it is easy to understand and manipulate, thus making the information useful. Visualization can make sense of information by helping to find relationship in the data and support and ideas about the data. So information visualization is the art of representing the data so that it is easy to understand and manipulate the data and to use the information for the purpose of decision making in the organization. Importance of data visualization. Intuitive. Presenting a graph as node link structure instantly makes sense even to people who have never worked with the graphs before. So it makes basically the graphs, the information very interesting. So even the person who is not interested in the data, while looking at the data, while looking at the graph, that person also can make some decision based upon that particular graphs. So data visualization is very powerful tool. It is fast because our brains are great at identifying patterns, but only when data is presented in a tangible format. So armed with visualization, we can spot trends and outliers very effectively. So what are the trends and what are the outliers? Outliers are those data values which are different from the normal behavior of a data. Let's suppose if we want to analyze the marks of the students in particular class. So when we have analyzed, we have seen that out of 30 students, most of the students they score more than 80. But there are 4 students who scored less than 5 out of 100. So when the average is being taken for all the students, the average was drastically low than 70. But actually the average of majority of students is more than 80, but because of the 4 students, average went down drastically. So it means that 4 students are the outliers in that particular data set. So outliers are those values which are different from the normal behavior of a data. With the help of the line chart, a time series data can be represented in a form so that it shows the trends. So trends will compare the data in the chronological order and help the decision maker to take decision based upon the chronological order of the sale of any product. So data visualization is a powerful tool because it is a flexible. The word is densely connected, so as long as there is an interesting relationship in your data somewhere. So you'll find value in a graph visualization. Insightful. Exploring graph data interactively allow user to gain more in-depth knowledge, understand the context and ask more questions compared to static visualization or the raw data. Data exploration. Data exploration tasks are those of examining data without having an prior understanding of what patterns, information or knowledge it might contain. While the majority of research has been on the output of and creation of visualization, but the important aspect of these tasks is to first understand the data, why it is being used and how to process. So data exploration is very important because majority of the decision maker, majority of the decision maker, they always concentrate on to play with the data and to create graph and take decision based upon the data. Now it is very important to pre-process the data. If data is not in the usable form, then how can any manager take decision from the data? So it is very important to do data exploration. So for example, ETL process. ETL means extraction of data. Basically, T means transforming data. L means loading. So extraction, transform and loading process can be followed in the data exploration to use data for the purpose of decision making, because the data which is readily available. So anyone cannot use that data for directly for the purpose of decision making. That data need to be pre-processed. So why that data need to be pre-processed? Because there can be noise in the data, there can be ambiguity in the data, or there can be presence of outliers in the data. So if we want to use data for the decision making, it is very important to first of all validate the data. So data exploration is concerned basically about that, and various statistical tools also can be used in order to confirm whether the data is valid or not valid, or if it is not valid, what need to be done to make data valid. Data mining. Data mining is one of the most useful techniques that help entrepreneurs, researchers, and individuals to extract valuable information from the huge sets of data. Data mining is also called as knowledge discovery in the databases, KDD. So it is used to find out the hidden patterns from a data which were previously unknown and potentially useful for the organization, and it is also called as the knowledge discovery. Uses of data mining. Data mining is the process by which companies turn raw data into information that is useful and can be put into action. Data mining include collecting and assembling data from common areas such as data warehouses, relational databases, transactional databases, multimedia databases, and spatial databases. Data mining is used across various fields such as business, research, marketing, sales, understanding customer behavior, education, identifying credit risk, production development and healthcare, bank fraud detection and risk analysis, and many more. So these areas prominently they use data mining in order to increase their performance. Like in healthcare, these data mining concepts are very much prominent in order to find out basically in order to find out the history of the person, in order to track basically the history of the person who want basically treatment as an inpatient or as outpatient. In banking fraud detection, in bank loan deployment, this technique data mining is very important, because if you want a loan to be sanctioned, then it is very important that bank must check last 1 year transaction and check the credit score. So that is how data mining is used in these fields such as business, research and marketing. The process of data mining. So there are different steps of data mining. The first process is collection. First, data is collected, organized and filled into a data warehouse. A data is stored and managed either in the cloud or in-house servers. Understanding. In this step, data scientist and the business analyst examine the properties of a data and conduct an in-depth analysis from the context of particular problem statement as defined by the company. This is addressed using the querying, visualization and reporting. Then the third step is preparation. Once the data source of the available data are confirmed, the data is cleared, constructed and formatted into the required form. In this process, additional data can also be explored at a greater depth, which is well informed by the insights and uncovered in the previous stage. Modeling. In this stage, for the prepared data set, modeling technique are selected. A data model is just like a diagram that reflect and describe the relationship between different types of information that are stored in database. Let's suppose if we want to create a model for a hospital where data is need to be stored online. So when patient visit the window, so then data is being fed by the person who are on the other side of the window. So what kind of information they require? They require information: name, father name, place, purpose of visit. So in the modeling of a system, we prepare a diagram in which we show all these things. When patient visit, so the data entry person enter data, how data will flow from to doctor to diagnostic to paramedics and again to the patient. So this is like a modeling. So in this stage, we prepared a data sheet. A modeling technique are selected. So which modeling technique will be used? A data model is just like a diagram that reflect and describe the relationship between different types of information that are stored in database. Evaluation. So in the context of business objective, the model results are evaluated. In this phase, due to new patterns that are discovered in the model, results or other factors, new business requirements may be raised. Example 1. Marketing. Data mining aim to explore large databases and focus to enhance market segmentation. By performing analysis regarding the relationship between parameters such as customer age, gender and taste, to know about their behavior to provide personalized loyalty campaigns. In marketing, data mining help to predict what interest the customer based on the searches and what should be included in mailing list to achieve a greater response. Retail. In any supermarket or a showroom, data mining help to detect which offer are most preferred by the customers. Banking. Data mining is used by the banks to understand the market risk. It is generally applied in intelligent anti-fraud systems. Credit ratings. To analyze credit card transactions, customer financial data and purchasing patterns. Data mining helps banks to learn more about the customer habits and also focus on managing regulatory compliance obligations. Healthcare. Data mining helps to identify and forecast risk, predict illness in the certain segments of the population. It helps to detect fraud and irregularities with much enhanced knowledge. Social media. Data mining in social media help to find hidden information in social media. It is used to unleash the hidden trends and patterns from the social media platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, etc. This is achieved through statistical technique and machine learning. So data mining has its advantages in one way or another. Data mining technique enable organizations to obtain knowledge-based data. Data mining enables organization to make lucrative modification in operation and production. Compared with other statistical data application, data mining is very cost efficient. Data mining helps the decision making process of an organization. It facilitates the automated discovery of hidden pattern as well as the prediction of trend and behavior. It can be induced in the new system as well as the existing platforms. It is a quick process that makes it easy for a new user to analyze enormous amount of data in a short time. Data mining is used in the fraud detection. The various steps are like data warehousing, correction of basically creation of association rules, if else analyzing pattern, customer authentication, create alert. So basically association there are some rules where the frequent patterns are analyzed. So when in the data is analyzed, if frequent patterns or association rules are created, then relations are identified, then customer approval patterns are checked. So post failure a alert is created. So billions of dollars are lost to the action of frauds. Traditional methods of fraud detection are a little bit time consuming and sophisticated. Data mining provides meaningful pattern and turning data into information. An ideal fraud detection system should protect the data of all users. Supervised method consists of collection of sample records, and these records are classified as fraudulent or non-fraudulent. A model is constructed using this data, and a technique is made to identify whether the document is fraudulent or not. Data mining in lie detection. Apprehending a criminal is not a big deal, but bringing out the truth from him is very challenging task. Law enforcement may use data mining techniques to investigate offenses, monitor suspected terrorist communications, etc. This technique includes text mining. Also, it seeks meaningful patterns in the data, which is usually unstructured text. The information collected from the previous investigation is compared and a model for lie detection is constructed. Healthcare. Creation of dashboard to visualize patient history can help an existing or a new doctor understand the patient condition. In case of emergency, it could provide quicker care facilities according to disease. Data visualization can help in identifying the trend instead of going through the report of hundreds of pages. Healthcare is a complex process and most of the time is wasted in analyzing the previous reports. Data visualization gives a better selling point by increasing response time. It provides matrices by which it is easier to analyze, thus increase the response time. Military. Dynamic data visualization help in understanding geography, climate better, which helps in better approach. Military equipment and tool cost is quite high. With the bar and the pie chart, it is easy to analyze existing inventory and make the purchase as per the need. Finance industries. Nowadays, data visualization tools are a must for financial sectors for exploring explained data of related clients, understanding customer behavior, having the transparent flow of information, the efficiency of decision making. Data visualization helps in creating patterns for the associative firm and business, which help in better investment strategy. Data visualization highlights the latest trend for the better business opportunities. What are the best practices in data visualization? Set the context. It is important to provide a general background information to ground the audience around why this particular data point is important. For example, if email open rates were underperforming, we may want to illustrate how a company open rate compared to the overall industry, demonstrating that the company has problem with this marketing channel. To drive the action, the audience need to understand how the current performance compared to something tangible like goal, benchmark, or the key performance indicators KPI. Most importantly, know your audience. Think about who your visualization is designed for and then make sure your data visualization fit the need. What is that person trying to accomplish? What kind of question do they care about? Does your visualization addresses the concern? You'll want the data that you provide to motivate people to act within their scope of their role. If you're unsure if the visualization is clear, present it to one or two people within your target audience to get the feedback, allowing you to make additional edits prior to the larger presentation. Choose an effective visual. Choose an effective visual. Specific visuals are designed for specific type of dataset. For instance, scatter plot display the relationship between two variables very well, while line graph display time series data. If you want to show trends, line graph is very important. Ensure that visual actually assist the audience in understanding your main takeaway. Misalignment of chart and data can result in the opposite, confusing your audience further versus providing the clarity. Keep it simple. Data visualization tools can make it easy to add all sorts of information to your visual. However, just because you can, it does not mean that you should. In data visualization, you want to be very deliberate about the additional information that you add to focus user attention. Types of data visualization. Tables. This consists of row and column used to compare table. Table can show a great deal of information in a structured way, but they can also be overwhelm users that are simply looking for high level trends. Pie charts and stack charts. These graphs are divided into sections that represents part of a whole. They provide a simple way to organize data and compare the size of each component to one another. Line chart, these visuals show change in one or more quantities by plotting a series of data points over time and are frequently used within the predictive analytics. Line graph utilize lines to demonstrate these changes, while area charts connect data points with the line segment, stacking variables on top of one another and using color to distinguish between the variables. Histogram, this graph plot a distribution of number using a bar chart representing the quantity of data that fall within a particular range. Scatter plots, these visuals are beneficial in revealing the relationship between two variables and they are commonly used within the regression data analysis. Heat maps, these graphical representation displays are helpful in visualizing the behavioral data by location. This can be a location on a map or even a web page. Tree maps, which display hierarchical data as a set of nested shapes, typically rectangles. Tree maps are great for comparing the proportion between categories by their area size. Now it is time to jump to the practical demonstration of some of the data visualization tools. Now I will provide you the overview of various data visualization tools. The first tool is Tableau. So this is the interface. When you open the Tableau, this interface will come in front of you. So when opening this interface, so here you see there is connect, and this bar is used to connect to different data sources on which we want to work. Like here you see there is a Tableau server, Microsoft Excel. If we want to connect to Microsoft Excel file, we can also import text file, JSON file, Microsoft Access, PDF, spatial statistical file, and many more databases or many more sheets of different formats can be imported in this. And if you want to directly connect to a server, Microsoft SQL Server, it can connect to MySQL, Oracle, Amazon Redshift, and there are many more servers with which it can be connected. If you see here, so you can connect it to the MongoDB, so Google Ads, Google Analytics, SAP Systems, Salesforce. So this from data, you can directly fetch data from these servers also. For learning, there are two inbuilt data sets. One is sample superstore and one is the word indicators. When you open the sample superstore data set, so this window will open in front of you. So this window, and here you can see there are different sheets: order, people, return, and these are linked like this. And if you want to see the data, so this data, it looks like this. So when you click on the sheet here, this is the major working window of the software Tableau, and it is very important software used nowadays for the data visualization. Now you see these are the different menus: file, data, worksheet, dashboard, story, analysis, map, format, server, window, help. And here this is column and these are the rows. So you can see when you put your mouse pointer here, so it shows that drag, dimension or measure here to double click to start a new calculation. So what are dimension and measures? So you see here there is a data and this is the analytics, and these are the different graphs which can be built. So this data set consists of orders, and here you see this is the order, discount, profit, and now here in front of customer name ABC is written, and here in discount, so different symbol is there. So this will help you to understand the type of the data. What is the type of data is this? Now, I will tell you the basic how it works while creating a very simple graph. Okay, but so in detail we'll discuss in coming practicals. So you can import like the profit here. So the profit and the if you want, so you can see the category of product. So it will show you the different graphs like the furniture, office supplies and technology. So easily you can identify so that what is the profit from the office supplies, technologies and furniture. This is the basic overview how to work with this particular software, Tableau. So here are the dimension and measures of the data set, and these are the various graphs, and here from you can do various settings like if you want to see data in the ascending order or you want to see data in the descending order. So you can bring it changes from here. And if you want to open another sheet, you can open another sheet, and here you can see the different type of analysis. Earlier we have seen the profit, now you can see the discount. So discount in the office supplies is highest as compared to furniture and the technology products. So this is how you can analyze the data and you can play with the data in order to create a very interesting data visualization which will help the organization to take decision based upon the data rather than on the basis of any judgment. This is the basic overview of the first data visualization tool, Tableau. So there are many other tools like SPSS, this is a statistical package, if you want to analyze the research based data. If you want to check whether their data is normal or not normal, is there any standard deviation in the data, what is the mean of the data values, and if you want to apply various statistical parametric and non-parametric tests to conclude whether the hypothesis which you have designed for the research is accepted or not accepted, whether alternate hypothesis is accepted or the null hypothesis is accepted. So there are various options when the data is imported. So you can go to analyze and descriptive statistics, and if you go to the frequencies, so various options will open in front of you, like if you want to calculate the mean, median, mode of the data. And as I discussed it with you that it is very important to find out whether data is valid or not. So whether data is normal or not when any research is done and data is collected. So before actually creating the visualizations, it is very important to check whether data is valid or not. And how can we check? We can check it from the software like SPSS. There are different options with which reliability and validity of the data can be checked, and it can be checked whether data is in the normal or near to normal form, and how much data is dispersing, or what is the skewness value or the standard deviation or variance in the data. So this is second tool, and it is a research based tool which is used for the data analysis related to the research based data, and it is having very important in the process of data exploration. Then there is Microsoft Excel. So Microsoft Excel also contains different options with which data visualizations can be created, and the research based test can be applied with various extensions. So majorly this tool is also used for the purpose of analyzing the data and reporting tools. But in this subject, our major focus will be on this software Tableau, with which we will learn how to create different types of visualization. We'll explore in depth about this particular software, how to apply filters and what are different options with which interesting visualizations can be created from the complex data, convert the data into information and to convert the information into knowledge. So we learn it through this particular software. Thanks. That's all for now.